Shalom, friends. I'm Tammy Goldberg, a Momentum sister who live in Yad Binyamin. After spending the past 25 years in Cleveland, I have the privilege of participating in 8 Momentum trips as a community leader, and I love every moment. To me, Yom HaAtzmaut is symbolized a dream that came through after many years of prayers, tears, and hope. Israel is a true gift to the Jewish people, future generations. Now, let's talk about our 4 goals of Momentum: to connect to the Jewish values, to engage with Israel, to take action, and to foster unity without uniformity. אחדות ולא אחידות. Each Momentum booth related to one of those goals in order to inspire both us and our families. And while inspiration is wonderful, we know that taking action is critical to making the difference. We can take action with ourselves and our families, and then we can help transform our communities and the world. Momentum Boost daily webinar cover a wide range of topics that help us grow and motivate us to be the best that we can be. During each of today's Momentum Booth, we will be engaging in Israel in celebration of Yom HaAtzmaut. So let's get started. It's time for the booth. For this webinar, we are so excited to welcome Paula Shoyer. Paula Shoyer, known as the Kosher Baker, is the author of The Healthy Jewish Kitchen, the Holiday Kosher Baker, the Kosher Baker, and the new Passover menu. Paula does cooking classes and talk all around the world. She's a freelance writer, cooking book editor, influencer, and has appeared on the TV over 43 times, including on Food Network. Welcome, Paula.
Okay, I'm going to start okay, you guys can see me okay. Hey, everybody. I am so excited to welcome the Momentum community into my kitchen in Chevy Chase, Maryland, and show you how to make some fabulous Israeli food today. So first thing I want to talk about is gratitude, because that is something that I feel like I've experienced so much during this quarantine time. First, gratitude to God for health of me and my family. And you know, during this week, I'm also so grateful for all my many communities, the Momentum community, my synagogue community, my social life, my friends, small and large. And even if you're going through a difficult time right now, if you're on this Zoom call, you can celebrate Yom HaAtzmaut, Israeli Independence Day today, and be grateful for the blessing of the state of Israel. You know, I have always taken food a bit for granted. As I've created recipes for my cookbooks, if I think of some crazy ingredient, I just go to the store and buy it. But now it's much harder. We're only doing orders to our home. So for us, you know, every time I get ingredients in the house, I'm just so grateful to have what I have. And as a result, you know, every night is kind of a version of Chopped. I was on Food Network Sweet Genius years ago. So I know what it's like to kind of be thrown in a situation and create with whatever you have. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit today as we get into our recipes. And so I can help you kind of use what you already have in your house to create some delicious meals, Israeli and otherwise. Now, many people on this Zoom right now went on the trip to Israel with Momentum. And you know, having an Israeli food meal in your home is a way to kind of bring those amazing memories from your trip into your home, whether you're a person by yourself or you're with your entire family. I'm feeding 4 adult children. There is no amount of food that is enough for these kids. The word leftovers does not exist anymore. They just blow through so much food. This first dinner, second dinner, anyway. You're gonna see what they're gonna have for dinner tonight, which is really great. One of the things we've been doing in our family is we've been doing themed meals and themed menus. So like I used to live in Switzerland, we did a Swiss menu, we've done Israeli food at Food Times, French food, Spanish food. Bring memories of places that you've been to your table during this time. It'll help you kind of appreciate the blessing of having had the opportunity to go to these places. And please God, we will all get to travel again soon. All right, let's get cooking Israeli food. Now, people all of a sudden often wonder, like, what is Israeli food? Because really, it's a lot of different things put together. But when I think of Israeli food, it's the same way I think about community. Israeli food brings together different backgrounds and talents and travel experiences. So just like this community on this Zoom right now is from all different places, all different backgrounds, Israeli food is kind of the same thing. Okay, what we're gonna make first is hummus, and we're gonna do canned chickpeas, so it's super, super easy. All right, I'm gonna move this over here, and I'm gonna show you kind of what I'm doing so that you guys can see my food processor right here. All right, I'm gonna try to get as close as I can. Let's do this a little bit better. All right, so let's make our hummus. Now, the first thing I typically do is when I make hummus is I put lemon juice in my food processor, and you can do this with a blender as well. And I put in my garlic, and I'm gonna crush that up. And I usually let it sit for about 5 minutes. It helps mellow out the garlic a bit. So normally what I would do is I will scrape this down a bit, and I would let this chopped garlic, it's gonna get chopped up a bit more when we make our hummus. Actually, I'm gonna mix it one more time, and then I would let this sit just for a couple of minutes. Maybe while that's happening, I can show you something else. All right, it's doing the best we can. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be adding tahina, and I want to show you guys what I'm using. I got a gift today from Momentum JWRP founder Cindy Zeidelman, a gift of sum tahini, which is just delicious, and that's what I use both in the tahini we're going to use to garnish and the hummus. All right, so let's go ahead and add our chickpeas. Now, very important, when you drain your canned chickpeas, you're going to have this liquid. So we're going to use some of the liquid in the hummus, but do not throw out the rest of the liquid because it's called aquafaba, and I use it to make chocolate mousse. So I've got a recipe in my Healthy Jewish Kitchen cookbook where I use aquafaba to make vegan mousse. It's really delicious. And these days, we don't want to waste any ingredients. So hold on to your aquafaba, and you can make mousse out of it. All right, let's add our tahini here. It smells so good. It's such a wonderful product. And now we're gonna add in some olive oil and some salt. And let me move these out of the way. And we're gonna cream this up together. And what's great about making hummus these days is that it's something that, you know, if you have on your pan, it's easy to go. And like every time you mix anything, you always want to scrape down the sides. Now, if you like it more lemony, you can add more lemon, more garlicky, add more garlic. It's completely up to you. And you know what? If you didn't have olive oil, you could use regular oil. And if you don't have canned chickpeas, you have any kind of a white bean, cannellini beans, you can make hummus out of that. These days, you just have to work with what you've got. Now, I could keep mixing this and make it even like creamier, but I sometimes like it a little bit chunkier. All right, I'm gonna move this here. I'm gonna get rid of my food processor and give me more space to work. All right, so what's really cool is I've got this beautiful bowl here from a ceramicist in Israel named Nancy Hyman, who grew up where I grew up in Long Island. And she's a friend of my brother's, and she gave me this beautiful bowl. So we're going to use that today in honor of all our friends and family in Israel who we wish we could be with today. My brother lives in Kadima with my niece and nephew. So we're going to scrape this into the bowl. And then after we have it in the bowl, we're going to go ahead and we're going to, you know, work on our toppings. So yeah, it is a little chunkier. That is fine. All right, I think we're good here. So I'm going to spread this out. And if we're trying to be Instagram perfect, I'm gonna, wow, this definitely came out a little chunkier, but it's really tasty. Oh, it's really garlicky. All right, so we've got our bowl here. All right, now we're gonna move over to my caramelized onions. So obviously, let's turn this up a little bit. These portable burners are handy, but not perfect. Let's move you guys over just a drop more. So these have been cooking for quite a while. So you see, I want you guys to see, after the recipe part moves, I'm gonna move this over to show you. And you know, making onions like this, look, I want you guys to see the cool color here. It's really fabulous. So these have been cooking for at least 20, 25 minutes. The recipe says less, but cook them until you're happy with how they look. And then I like to spice these up a little bit. So I'm gonna add in some crushed garlic. Let's see if I can get this hotter. Oh, it's working, it's working. And then I've got a bunch of spices in here. And you know, this is optional. There's salt, there's pepper, there's Aleppo pepper. I also have some turmeric. So, you know, add turmeric, paprika in here so you can have some fun, and cumin. I'm gonna put that in. And that just gives the onions a little bit of flavor. There's my handy dandy tongs. I'm a huge fan of tongs, silicone tip tongs. I have large ones, small ones for milk, for meat. I absolutely love them. And what adding the spices does, it also gives it a little bit of color. You guys, I don't know if you can hear, but you can see how gorgeous this looks. So I'm just gonna, once you add the spices, you're gonna let it sit for a couple of minutes. So we'll just let this sit through here. And cooking onions like this requires patience, but we have more time now, so don't be afraid to take a little time to do it. All right, next, let's try to sizzle. All right, I'm gonna move us over here to our Instant Pot. But first, yeah, I'm gonna come up and say hi because I want you guys to see me too. Okay, we're gonna talk about Instant Pot shawarma. So if you haven't discovered the Instant Pot, I'll show you mine in a moment. It is an amazing device. It's particularly great for kosher Jewish families because we have holidays where we're cooking so many dishes for so many people. And having the Instant Pot is so great because you can use your burgers for something else. Everything is in one bowl. So you're only cleaning one thing. It keeps the smells inside. It's just fabulous. And there's a Facebook group for kosher Instant Pot users. And my next cookbook is the Instant Pot Kosher Cookbook, out September 1. You can buy it on Amazon pre-order. Okay, so let me turn this down and do my, I'm gonna show you what I'm doing in this Instant Pot in 1 second. So Instant Pot shawarma, I took my pargio, dark meat, boneless chicken. But if you have white meat, use that too. If you have chicken on the bone, you can use that too. So what all you do is you put your shawarma spice and some turmeric and olive oil on your chicken, mush it up, use a glove. Turmeric makes a mess of your manicure, although not a problem these days, unfortunately. And let it sit for a while. And then you put it into the pot, the Instant Pot, with a cup of chicken stock or water if you have that. And then you cook it for all of 10 minutes. And then after you've done that, then you shred it with 2 forks. So I'm gonna show you that part because that's already done. So I took my forks and I shredded up this chicken. So now I've got the chicken there. So I'm gonna push this on again. And all I have in the Instant Pot, I'm gonna move this over so you guys can see it. The recipe is gonna come up, but I'm gonna tilt this down so you can see into my Instant Pot. Last week, the Instant Pot company was doing a campaign where they asked people to post what's in your Instant Pot, and they were giving out Instant Pots to families in need. So here, all you have here is some onion. So after I cooked my chicken, I strained it, I kept the liquid. I added onions in here, and I cooked these up for a little bit. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my chicken back into the bowl of the pot, into the inner pot. Okay, so now this is all I'm doing is I'm putting the chicken back into the pot. And I'm gonna stir that up with some, let's see if we can get the camera back on what I'm doing. Oh, there we go, great. So this is the chicken back in the pot with the onions. I'm adding salt, pepper, and some more shawarma spice. And I'm adding a bit of the liquid that the chicken cooked in. And all we're doing is gonna be stirring this to make it moist. Now, if you don't have an Instant Pot, you could do several things. You could cook it in the oven at 350 for maybe like 30, 40 minutes until the chicken's done. And then you shred it and you saute onions in a regular pan and add the the chicken to that. You could also do the whole thing on a frying pan, so you could cook your chicken right on the stovetop. If you don't have chicken, you could also use turkey. You could use, you know, anything. You could mix up different things as well. And what I did was I kind of shredded it into pieces. I don't want it completely shredded. And this is going to just cook for a couple of minutes. So we're going to let that sit for a minute while we talk about something else. All right, next. All right, we're getting there to the home stretch on our topics. The final thing that I made today, I want to show you guys this, is I wanted to make a vegetarian sabich hummus bowl. And sabich is an Israeli sandwich and pita, which is normally like salad and hummus and eggplant and hard-boiled egg and tahina. And so we're going to use that concept to make a bowl. So I'm going to turn this down so you can really see this eggplant. Now, doesn't this look like we actually fried this on a frying pan? But I didn't. I'm all about taking food we love and making it healthier. So what I did was I put oil on a sheet pan. I cut this up in strips. You could do circles, and I baked it in the oven. I think the recipe doesn't say to turn them over halfway through, so I'm telling you now that's what you need to do. Okay, let me mix my Instant Pot here. This is going to be done very soon. So this is a way to oven fry eggplant, and I will tell you that, you know, my Healthy Jewish Kitchen book, tiny plug there, and if you need the book, try to buy it from a local bookseller and celebrate local businesses wherever you live. I also sell books myself. If you want them signed, just let me know. So in this book, in addition to this eggplant method, I also have a way to oven fry schnitzel. And it's an amazing method. So I really believe that you can take food that you love and make it a lot healthier. And here, let's take a look and see what's going on in our pot here. And we're just trying to mix these onions into the chicken. I think that's basically done here. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to press cancel. Now, one of the reasons I'm really big about healthy food is that I want to have room for dessert. I'm the kosher baker. There's been a lot of baking going on around here. I'm actually starting to sell flour locally because apparently I ended up ordering too much. So I always say that the Healthy Jewish Kitchen Cookbook is how you should cook and eat so that you always have room for dessert. And speaking of healthy food, did you guys know that Rambam, who's a famous commentator, who's also a doctor, was a huge proponent of exercise and healthy eating? And as it turns out, his approach to healthy eating is identical to mine. I didn't know that I was living Rambam until I researched it, and it's like, cool. I'm like Rambam. His approach is, it's not all or nothing. Don't feel you have to either be on a diet, eating only healthy food, or you're completely off the diet. I live my life, it's all about balance. And Rambam himself talks about, you know, doing things gradually. So like for me, starting to add more whole grains in my babka and my challah recipes. And I have 100% whole wheat challah in that book. Then it's about, you know, portion control, you know, oven baked frying things versus frying in the oven. His view is like every single week, add something new to your diet to kind of make it healthier. And he was also a proponent of exercise all the time. So, you know, it's like every day to take a new step, and it's just a great life lesson to learn. You know, I had a lot of loss a couple of years ago. And what I learned was when you're going through a challenging time in your life, all you need to do is take one step forward to something new, something different, to some light. And that will bring in some measure of joy into your life and will start kind of dominoes of change. So I will leave you with that. All right, now let's get back to food. I'm going to move everything over, and we are going to put together our hummus bowl, which I'm really excited about. So I've got two bowls here, and I'm going to show you guys this. Let's see if we can see them both at the same time. You guys see those? Excellent, okay? So we now have two bowls of hummus, and you know, you could do this with making kind of smaller bowls for the members of your family, or for our family, what we're going to do tonight is this is going to end up being kind of a serving bowl. So what do we have here? Let's do our chicken one first. How does that sound? So first I want to show you this beautiful tahina that I made using Michael Solomonov's recipe, and soon tahina, of course. So one cool tip whenever you're serving hummus, and I also learned this doing food photography for my new book, where I have a hummus in the Instant Pot book and beet tahina, which is really beautiful. You take the back of your spoon and make these wells. You could put in olive oil, you could put in any kind of a sauce. It gives it a place for things to pool. So I'm just gonna put some of this tahina in here. I'm gonna pour it in here. And you could put this on top of the chicken. You could decide how you wanna do it. Let's see, I'm thinking, all right, so here's our chicken. Let's put it on the side like this. What do you think? You like the way that looks, everybody? All right. So here you have some chicken. And we could also add a little bit of eggplant to this one. So maybe I'll add a couple of pieces of eggplant. And I'm gonna go get some olive oil. And then you can always drizzle some olive oil like that. And then you get to have some fun, whether you have sumac or paprika. Let's not make sure this doesn't open up completely. I'm using Israeli spices here. You can add a little paprika there. Come on. Okay, and then you could also add a little bit of cumin. And then what really fun is you can even sprinkle some pine nuts on top. I toasted these pine nuts this morning. Whenever you're toasting pine nuts, do them on the stovetop rather than the oven, and just watch them like you would a newborn baby. So here, I want to show you like our chicken bowl. So I'm doing this as a serving bowl, but you could do individual ones as well. So here's one of our beautiful bowls already. All right, let's take our second bowl. This is gonna be our vegetarian sabich bowl. So let's figure out what we wanna do. So I've got hard-boiled eggs here. So let's put, I've got a runaway yolk. So let's put, we'll just put everything into little sections. And now we've got our eggplant. But I want you to see like how cool it is to get eggplant like nicely browned in the oven. So let's do the more brown parts. And then we're gonna add our caramelized onions here, which is really great. All right, here's some eggplant. And you get to play around with this. I also made Israeli salad, and I'm gonna show you something really super cool in a second. So here's our eggplant. All right, now, remember these? How gorgeous are these? So we're gonna put that in our, kind of in the middle, because that's gonna be kind of our signature something in here. So we've got caramelized onions here. And obviously you can put the onions with the chicken. This is like mix and match. The one thing I will say is when my kids were younger, any meal that they could put together themselves was something that they always enjoyed eating. So we can make a pool for the tahina. We can drizzle the whole thing on top. I'm going to kind of pool it here, but obviously I could be drizzling. Let's get a little tahina on the eggplant. This looks so super good. Let's put some more pine nuts anywhere. This time we'll do the pine nuts mostly in the tahina. And I feel like our eggs need a little bit of color. So let's take a little bit of this paprika. Yeah, let's give them a little color. There we go. All right. So now we've got some color there. And here are our two hummus bowls. So here we have it's like a vegetarian sabich bowl that I've created. And here is my chicken one as well. And I'm gonna make some brown rice, and I've got Israeli salad. And now I'm gonna show you something really cool. And then I'm gonna talk about a couple of great quarantine cooking tips that everybody can use no matter what menu you're doing. I have to show off here, okay? Check out my cute pita. So in honor of this class, I made grilled pita on my outdoor grill. The recipe's on the kosherbaker.com website. So please go there and check it out. You could do it in a cast iron pan on the stove if you wanted to, but you know, they came out really nice. I like the line. So my kids, I'm gonna warm this up later. My kids are gonna get a great meal, plus Israeli salad and brown rice. And all right, let's talk about a couple of tips. One of the things I've gotten really good at during this time is not wasting ingredients. So first I want to show you my great tip for keeping herbs fresh in the refrigerator. So this is kind of a bowl or a planter, and it's just got cold water. I've got dill, cilantro, and a bit of parsley left. And this has been sitting in my fridge for like a week and a half. I change the water every couple of days, and I use what I need. And whatever herbs you've got in your house, like after you've used the leaves, save the stems so that you can chop them up and put those in soup, chicken, or salad or anything. Don't waste a thing. In my house, the new quarantine rule is you zest before you juice. So if the kids are making cocktails, if somebody wants lemon juice and tea or whatever, you don't get to squeeze the lemon before you zest it. wrap up the zest in plastic wrap, and keep it in the fridge. My grandmother, who lived to the age of 98 years old on a diet of sponge cake and Senka, used to freeze lemon zest. So when she wanted to make her legendary sponge cake, she had her zest ready for you. Now, a lot of people have been messaging me through the website, kosherbaker.com, or messaging me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as Paula Shoyer, the Kosher Baker, and my baking Facebook group called Kosher Baker. Please join. Everyone's posting their challah recipes. It's been really, really fun. And Instagram as well. I'm on Instagram as Kosher Baker. People message me through lots of ways to ask me what to do about substitutions. What if I don't have this? What if I don't have that? If you have like less than like a half a teaspoon of a spice in a recipe, you can probably do without it. Use something else. Make sure you keep dried spices. You can use those if you don't have fresh. And work with what you have. I got 3 bags of black-eyed peas 2 weeks ago through Instacart, and I created an amazing stew out of black-eyed peas, which I had never cooked in my life. So every strange thing that shows up, everything that you find in the back of your pantry is an opportunity. I also created quarantine soup, and I will post the link on my social media. It's on the Atlanta JCC's website, where you make soup out of whatever you happen to have in the fridge. You have leeks, you have onions, you have none of them. What do you do next? What liquid, whatever. So I guess that's, so those are my basic tips. And also if you go on the website, you can join my newsletter list so that I can continue to share with you more recipes. I'm doing more videos all the time. I feel like this is a unique opportunity, and I want to help entertain people and nourish people and help them as much as possible. And, the other message I want to leave with everybody is, if you need help for whatever reason, food-wise, financial-wise, mental health, ask for help. But if you're somebody who can offer help to somebody else in need, there are so many organizations in our Jewish community who are helping in so many ways. You can take your Fresh Direct or Instacart time slot for delivery, and instead of getting food for yourself, have it delivered to a homeless shelter or a church or a synagogue or whoever is feeding other people in your community. So I'm open to questions now. I didn't leave too much time for questions, but I'm happy to answer questions about baking, about food, about planning meals, because pretty much I spend most of my time now just cooking and cleaning and feeding my adult children here. So can we answer some questions before we have to go?
For anyone who would like to answer a question, please put it in the chat, and we will see what the questions come up. I actually have a question for you before we go, Paula. What is your favorite thing to bake for Shabbat?
I have to say, besides challah, obviously, and my challah recipe is on the website, my favorite thing to bake is my chocolate babka. Like, that is the most comforting, nourishing. It's what my kids always want me to bake for them. And it's different versions. Last week was a brand new cinnamon babka recipe, babka bites, babka cupcakes, cranberry babka, apple pie babka, honey cake babka, babka babka. It's basically challah with a filling. So yeah, I would have to say
I was just gonna ask, do you use your same challah recipe for your babka? No, you don't. Okay.
I don't, but that's what they did back in the old country. My original babka recipe has a lot of margarine in it. My new book has a spelt babka recipe. So I've been, adding more whole grains into my baking. You can always substitute in 25% of whole wheat flour for white flour without changing anything else in the recipe. But if you start adding more whole grains, you need to start adjusting the egg and liquid amounts as well.
Great. We do have a question from Lynn Moore. She said, where can I find these recipes? So once again, can you tell all of us where the actual recipes are found?
Okay, I will put these up on the kosherbaker.com website. I know that whoever registered, right, got a copy of the recipes. Is that true?
The recipes that you just talked about are actually in the chat. We can put it up again. I will put it up again right now.
I will put them up on my website.
Check the link.
Great. And I will put them up on my website as well to give people another place for that. Other recipes that I've talked about are like from this book or my other cookbooks. I have lots of recipes on my website, and I keep adding more all the time because I know that people are always looking for new things to make. I mean, Jewish people are cooking Thanksgiving dinner every Friday night. So we just need more recipes all the time. And we want them to be, I try so hard to stand in the shoes of home cooks and think about how many steps they want to take in a side dish, how many dishes they want to wash at the end. So I try really hard to come up with recipes that look really complicated, but they're not. They look like you slaved all day in the kitchen, but only you know that you spent 5 minutes doing this and 10 minutes doing that, and voila, something delicious appears.